So I want to show you a very simple document that a client sent me today. So I have this client who sent me a document, who sent me this document. And what they're doing is that they're looking for a very simple brochure that can actually illustrate this information. As you can see, the client has sent me a logo, all right? Can you see my screen? Is my screen visible on your end? Is my screen visible on your end? Now remember, I'm recording this session, so as usual, as part of being in the graphic design bootcamp, I normally share the session directly in the learning management system. Yeah. So remember, every session that we have is recorded and shared in the very simple learning management system that we use. I don't know why it's not loading up, but it should be. So let me just check that out again. I think I'll have to sort that in the back end, but no worries. Should be live. Don't know why. What's the issue? Okay, but I think I'll sort that out. So it's good. I think it's working. So in the courses tab, I think most of you guys actually have been part of the classes, right? And you're able to access the classes in the backend, right? So all the classes will now be added. When you do how we've actually been proceeding, this is where you're going to find the classes. So today being a Thursday, I don't want to take much of your time, but as you can see, the client sent me this document. The document itself, as you can see here, is a document that says that the name of his business is Resilience Center, Pioneering Sustainable Solutions for a Resilient Future. And in the 3-page document that we're supposed to create today, we need to start by having something about empowering communities through innovation. We also need to talk about renewable energy. We also need to talk about water resource management with a difference. We also need to talk about harnessing the power of drone technology. We also need to talk about catalyzing for climate resilient development. And finally, I think there is an option over here, partner with us for a future free of poverty and degradation, all right? And as you can see here, the client has a very simple illustration of what they expect. You see? Best practices. The text has to be clear, a clear and a compelling message. The brochure should convey a clear, compelling message that resonates with the target audience. Focus on the value proposition and the impact of the center's work. Concise content, visual appeal, call to action, all right? Target audience, tailor the language and the content to the specific needs and interests of your target audience, whether they are potential partners, donors, or community members. So the client has also illustrated examples of remarkable brochures. We have the Worldwide Fund, all right, WWF Fund, brochures, United Nations Development Program, the Nature Conservancy. So now the client already has in mind, anajua chenye anataka. If you look at this. So if I come and for example, search for this, because before you start any project, it's important for you to first of all understand what does your client need. I'm actually going to start with this, United Nations Development Program, which is UNDP. I'm actually going to go on Google and I'm going to put that in and I'm going to say brochure. So let me see brochure. We just want to see the various brochures that this particular, UNDP actually has. As you can see, very simple and very good looking brochures. So I'm actually going to download that and see how it actually comes out. So this is UNDP. I don't know if it's actually going to get downloaded. Good one. It's a large file, not really, not so large. I think we can actually get to open this. So if I come and open this file, as you can see, it's a very, very simple brochure. You see, ladies and gentlemen, very, very simple brochure. And ukiangalia, it doesn't have a lot of heavy stuff. All right, it doesn't have a lot of heavy stuff generally. It doesn't have a lot of graphics. It doesn't have a lot of nitty-gritties. Very simple, very concise. Now, since we want to create something that looks close to this, because the client is looking for something like this, we are going to try and use this particular template to create our brochure. So now, Adobe Illustrator, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you've still been practicing on how to use Adobe Illustrator. I'm really hoping that you've been practicing on how to use Adobe Illustrator. Yeah, as we proceeded on. Now, this is what was actually a logo I was working on for a client. So let me just save this. All right. Now, I am actually, the first thing that is very important for you to understand is that you need to create a new file. Okay? I'm also going to show you something about using Adobe Illustrator. You see this brochure that we've downloaded? You can always import it into Adobe Illustrator and open it up. But before that, all right, before that, it is very, very important for you to create your project, all right? Create a folder. Like, how many people still have these particular folders that we normally share over here? Always create a new folder for your file. So I'm going to right click over here, click on new. I'm going to click on folder. And this one I'm going to say, this one is 22nd of August 2024. And client brochure. All right. The name of the client, I don't want to say right now. Musienda mukaanze kumtext mumwambie, we can do a better flyer than this guy. Okay. So this one is the 22nd of August 2024 brochure. And I want to actually just use first of all, I need to create a new folder, and I'll say sample designs. Okay. So this one is where, now in this particular folder is where I'm actually going to come and remove this sample that the client sent. All right. And then I'm also going to create a new folder and say instructions. Okay. Now the instructions themselves are what the client sent. So if I go back to my downloads tab, all right, this is the brochure details. I'm going to drag these over here. Yeah, so it's as easy as that. So let me first close the document for now. I'm going to close the document and try again to move it. So I've moved it. So already now I have instructions, sample designs. I'll create another new folder and say, now this one is for downloaded images. Who can remind me which websites we use for images? Someone remind me. Anyone who can remind me where we get images for our graphic design projects? Who can tell me? Who can remind me? Which website? Exactly, Freepik. It's freepik.com. So you have downloaded images. Then we're going to create a new folder now. And then we're going to say main brochure design project. So now we've structured our document in a way that we can actually open it up. Good. Always remember that this is your interface in Adobe Illustrator. All right. When you run Adobe Illustrator for the first time, this is the interface that you get. So we have to create a new file. You click on create a new file. And for this case, now let me try and reduce my speed. We are actually going to be creating an A4 file. All right. And A4 is the most standard document that is used when it comes to probably printing or even graphic design in general. I believe everyone knows the size of an A4. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe everyone knows the size of an A4. True or false? Exactly. Now, if you come to the print tab over here, you will find a few options. You're going to find letter, A4, Lego, tabloid, A3, B4, and B5. I want to click on A4. When you click on A4, you want to click on this drop down over here and change this to centimeters. Now, the width is 21.7 centimeters. The height is 29.7 centimeters. We change the orientation. Now here, you're going to see something called bleed. So I want to go back to the document that we just viewed. Ukiangalia hii document, how many people are seeing that there is a kind of a margin hapa that doesn't have any kind of content? If you look at it, it's very well spaced. Like you find that there is some space that is left over here. Like if you look at this, let me actually just use this as an illustration. If you look at this, there is a space. This kind of a spacing. This spacing is very good when it comes to you creating documents. This spacing that you see, it's called the bleed. This one over here. Okay? You're going to find something like this. It makes your document look good. All right? So in Adobe Illustrator, I've created a 29.7 centimeters, height 21 centimeters, and then I'm going to give the name of the project. So I'm going to open the folder of the brochure itself. So actually it's in these different folder. So the instructions are here. I'm going to open these up. All right. And the name of the company is Resilience Center Nairobi. So I'm going to rename these and say this now, the project is going to be called Resilient Center Nairobi brochure. Okay, then over here, advanced options, just set the color mode to be CMYK. CMYK is very good for documents that are meant to be printed. Raster effects, you can make it 72 ppi, you can even do 150, but for me I'll do 300. Okay, if your computer is a little bit slow, I would recommend you use 72 ppi. Then you click on create. And sorry, there is something we did forget. We didn't add the bleed. So we're going to have a bleed of 1 centimeter. Now you're going to see the bleed. You're going to see what we mean by the bleed. So I'm going to say resilient center. Is it resilience or resilience? Resilience center, exactly. Resilience center brochure. I hope, sorry. Brochure 2024. Let's confirm whether it's center with RE or ER. Good. Then we click on create. Now, after creating the document, ladies and gentlemen, how many people have seen something like this? You're going to see like this. There's a red line over here and then this space. Now, this is what we refer to as a bleed. Now, the bleed is very easy because it allows you to have a good document. If you look at Word over here, there is something we refer to as margins. Ukiangalia, if you look at your document here, there is some spacing, yeah, from here to here. If you go down again to the footer, there is a distance between this and this. Well, ideally, that is what we're trying to look for. Now, I also mentioned to you that you can open a file in, you can easily open a PDF file in Adobe Illustrator. So I am actually just going to open this window like that. So I'm going to come and open sample designs and I'm going to drag this just like that. And after you drag it, if you want to open only one page, you can actually just click on any page that you want out of the 20 pages. So for now, I'm going to say I'm going to open all the pages and then I'm going to click on OK. So that now I can easily open all the various pages in that particular design. Ladies and gentlemen, are we still together? Are we still together up to that particular point? Are we still together? Someone tell me if we are still together. Okay. Now, here's the thing. We're going to try and create our design based on this particular first cover page. So I'm going to select these. Control and C. Who can tell me what Control and C does? Nani anajua what Control and C does? Kuna mtu anafikiria Control and C, what does it do? It does copying. It copies. What does Control and X do? Control or Command and X. What does Control and Command and X do? It cuts, exactly. What does Control and V do? Control and V. Control and V, it does pasting, exactly. That's the thing. So now, we are actually going to drag this. Drop it over here. Now, we will use this very simple design to create something like ours, okay? First things first, I will go to the document here, the client's document. If you look at this, the document sent to me by the client has a logo and the name of the business, that is Resilience Center. So what I'll do is that I'll try and copy this particular logo. Let me first copy this. And I come to Adobe Illustrator and paste this just like that. Something like that. I also can come and copy this one ikiwa peke yake as a client sent to me. Remember, you can even use your own logos. Usikuwe na wasiwasi. Okay? So if you look at this, there is an image that you're seeing over here. There is an image of Nairobi. And if you go back to the document, if we go back to the brief of the client's brief, you're going to find that the Resilience Center is at the forefront of delivering sustainable, innovative solutions to Africa's most pressing challenges. With a strategic focus on renewable energy, water resource management, food and agriculture, harnessing emergent technologies like remote sensing and drones, the center is dedicated to enhancing resilience in vulnerable communities across the continent. Our mission is clear: to bridge the gap between cutting-edge research and practical, scalable solutions that empower, all right, I'm going to do something over here, that empower communities, create meaningful jobs, and protect the environment. Okay, the Resilience Center. So what we can do, we can actually, first of all, we need an image. So I'll go to FreePic. I'll go to freepic.com. Okay. I'll go to freepic.com. In the meantime, I want you to be thinking of the font that we should be using. Just think about the font that we should use to one. Yeah. So I'll go and search for images like, let me search for image, probably Africa. We just want a very simple image. No, we don't need this. We can search on renewable energy. Okay. So let's see what we have. Mostly the client is targeting communities. I want you to think, you don't put any image just because the client told you. So how about we search for African community, something that makes the brochure more compelling. Now, if you look at this, you're going to get a number of images. All right. This is freepic.com. And first of all, it makes it so easy for you to have various images for your design. So African community, we can have African village. All right. As you can see, you can get so many images from these particular, from FreePic itself. These images are first of all meant to provide like, to help you like even in your designs. Yeah. How many people is the first time that they have heard of FreePic? Like by the first time, umesikia about FreePic this year, not in this lesson. Umesikia about FreePic this year. FreePic is an amazing resource. You can even get videos. So let me see, renewable energy, African community. Those are actually going to be my keywords. So let's see the various images that we can get from that. Well, there are so many, as you can see. There are so many actually. And all these are actually like solutions. You're trying to create a brochure that brings in something that, something that is relatable. All right. So I'm trying to get a few images. I'm trying to look for an image that would probably make a little bit sense. All right. So let me look for African. What else? African solar village. We want to see the various images that we can get with that. So all these are sample images that we can use. I'm trying to look for one that would really, be meaningful. So this one, not yet. We are looking for something. An image, what you're looking for is an image that communicates something, that you open it and you're like, okay. So I'm trying to scroll through to see the various images that we have. Okay. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this image? Is it a yes or is it a no? Tuendelee kutafuta ama is it a yes according to you? All right, a good number of you guys have voted yes. So I'm going to download this image. Ujue client akileta shida, I will say it is you guys who have actually said that I use that image. So I am actually going to use that image. Perfect. So I've downloaded the image. Immediately you download your image, you don't want to leave it in the downloads folder. So I'm going to go to the desktop. All right. And where I have the projects, go to images, downloaded images, and paste it over there. So if you open this image now, actually this one is an image generated with AI. So kidogo, that one hiyo imeanguka mtihani. We don't want to use an image that has been generated with AI. We want to use something a bit realistic. So let's see what we can get. I am going to select one image. I am going to select one image eventually. I'm still looking for one. I don't know. Acha tuone. Let me see. Or let's just look for an image on African community. The problem with graphic design is that you will be forced to do a lot of research when it comes to images. Yeah. So we want to exclude AI generated images. So yes. Exclude AI generated images. We don't want images that have been generated using AI. So we are looking for more images. So let's see what we can use. This one is good enough. Interestingly, someone might be wondering, why have you decided to use this image? At the end of the day, you're trying to communicate a message, and it doesn't have to be so direct. So I'm going to use this one. So, but if the client says that we change it, we still have to go ahead and change it. So this is a downloaded image. Good. So I'm going to come over here. Next thing that is very important. As you can see, in this particular design here, there is already we have like a background. If you look at this, so here's what I'll do. I will first come, drag this image here, just like that. Now you can resize your image. I'll hold Shift on my keyboard. Holding Shift, I will resize it just like that. Holding Shift. If I want to resize the entire image, what should I press and hold, ladies and gentlemen? Who can tell me what I should actually press and hold? In the chat section of this particular session, who can tell me if I want to resize each and every corner of the image? Good. Shift and Alt together. Holding Shift and Alt together, you can resize your entire image like that. So I will bring it over here, make it large, even to make it a little bit large. But here's the catch. Now you might be wondering, how in Jesus Christ will we make this image to be this size? So today we're going to be learning something new. How many people remember us talking about the rectangle tool? How many people remember us talking about the rectangle tool? The rectangle tool is here, ndio hii hapa. And if you select it, you can come and draw a very simple rectangle on top of the image. I want you to see how I'll draw a very simple rectangle all the way up to that particular point. Okay? Now, here's how you do. Now, here is something else that I want you to show you. After drawing this rectangle on the top of this image, I can clip mask it. So how will I clip mask it? And if you look at this, I have drawn my rectangle outside the red line, just within the red line and outside the black line, so that we can have that bleed that we are looking for. Now, I will select my image, and holding Shift on my keyboard, I will select the rectangle. Then I will right click, and I want to click on Make Clipping Mask. Ladies and gentlemen, tuko pamoja. Have you learned something today? Have you learned something today? That is how you probably create a clipping mask in Adobe Illustrator. Now, in fact, now I want to show you something else. Since you've clip masked your image, you can double click. When you double click inside it, you can continue resizing it like this. You can resize it as much as you want. If you want to change the size of your rectangle, after double clicking, you can just click on this part over here and resize it like this. You can resize it like this. It is as easy as that. You can do it like this. You resize it in that particular manner. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja up to that particular point. Are we still together? Now remember, we are trying to achieve something like this. Good. I want as next thing, I'll do this. I'll draw a very simple rectangle from this end all the way. Now this rectangle is going to be our background. So I can come over here and click on Fill and select the white color. Good. I will select the rectangle. I want to click on something called Arrange. Now the rectangle is already on top of our image, so we want to send it to the back. I will come select it, right click, click on Arrange, and then click on Send to Back. And as you can see now, it is behind our image. All right. Again, if you want to adjust the size of your rectangle, you just double click, select the path over here. When you hover on at the corner, you're going to see something called path. Something like that. You can resize it as much as you want. All right. Now, once you're done, we want to achieve something like this. You see this that has been written over here. So here's how I'll do it. I'm going to select the rectangle tool again, and then I'm going to draw a rectangle from far end to far end, just like that. Then I will select the eyedropper tool, and then I will select this particular green color. Evo 2, just like that. Then you can make these large or small depending on your preferences generally. So the next thing I want to do, on the right hand side over here, how many people can see something labeled opacity? Opacity. This is where you adjust the opacity of your shape or even any object that you have. So if I click on this drop down, I can reduce the opacity all the way in that kind of manner. So I will have something like this. See, inakaribia hiyo. You can even make this large. You can make it a little bit larger so that you can have something like this. Now, here's the thing. I want you, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to tell me the font that you'd like to use, for us to use. Now, I'm going to select this shape and bring it over here now as the logo now. I'm going to resize it. I'm going to resize it just a little bit. Which font do you want us to use? Anyone, tell me in the chat section, which font would you like? You can double click on the image. You double click on these. When you clip mask, you double click hapa. So if you look at this, when you double click, it makes sure that it is that particular part that you've selected that is being visible. Like for example, if I came and double clicked on this, it's now going to show, it's going to blur everything else and only specifically focus on that. If I double clicked on this, it's only going to focus on this. So ideally, that is what I mean. You can even, try it by yourself, yeah? Okay. Now the font that we will use. As you look at this, we have Resilience Center, Nairobi. That is the title. So I will select the horizontal type tool over here. The type tool, it's called the type tool. The shortcut for that is T. And then I will come and draw a very simple text box over here. And then I will add my text, Resilience Center, Nairobi. For me, I think I will use a font. Which font? Ladies and gentlemen, mumesema tutumie gani? For me, I'll use a different font called Metropolis, if you look at that particular font. So if you want to adjust the size of your text, you just highlight your text, increase the font size like this by clicking on the plus sign over here. All right? You can even adjust. This is basically what we refer to as a text box. It basically holds your text. You can reduce your text in this manner all the way. Yeah, just reduce it. And you can change the color of your text. You can click on the fill and probably make it white, just something like that. If you still want to make this a little bit darker, you can come and adjust the opacity so that you have something like this. Now, in fact, if you wanted to have different kinds of visibility, or basically font styles, you can come and select the horizontal type tool, click on Resilience, probably make it extra bold, or you can make it bold, and then you can even come and make these probably different, the various font styles that you can get to use. You can have something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, are we still together? If you want to increase your font size, as usual, as I had shown you earlier, yeah? So this is what you have so far. Good. So now, as you can see, we have something. It's a very simple title. All right. So if we go back to our document, we can see Resilience Center, Pioneering Sustainable Solutions for a Resilient Future. So I can copy this text. And then I'm going to come to Adobe Illustrator, select this, draw a very simple text box. I'm going to draw a very simple, draw a very simple text box. You can even draw it outside. And you can drag your text here. All right. Then you can increase the size of your font, the size of your text, basically, just something like that. You can have something like this anyway. So we have something, Pioneering Sustainable Solutions, yeah, for a resilient future. We had a full stop. Okay. We can make this bold. We can change the color. So when you select your text, you can just come over here, double click, and make it white. So we have something like this. You can even reduce the font size again. In fact, you can even decide to use a different font. Like for me, I can decide to use EB Garamond as for the title. All right. I can use this particular font, yeah, to make it a little bit different. So we can have something like this. And then to make it a little bit stylish, we can even decide to use, like for Pioneering Sustainable Solutions, we can decide to make it like bold italic, yeah. And for a resilient future, we can go ahead and decide to make it like also maybe italic, or you can even make it a medium italic, and then you can have something like that. Or you can even decide to be a little bit creative. You take the rectangle tool, then you come, you draw a very simple rectangle on top of this, yeah. After drawing that now, you can come, select the selection tool over here, select the rectangle, click on arrange, and then you can click on send to back. You can probably send it to the back. No, you click on, you want to make it move once only. So you can send it backward, so that now you can have your text. The text now is at the front, yeah? So if you selected the horizontal type tool like this, and you tried to drag like this, you will select your text. Now sasa, you can even select the eyedropper tool and select this green color. And then you're going to have something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, are we still together? Someone tell me if we are still together. Are we still together? Okay, so this is basically what we have as a very, very simple, it's like a cover page, yeah? Something to guide us. We can, there are a lot of things you can actually get to do with this. But for now, I think this has actually worked so well. This one is good. We can resize this size of the logo to make it a little bit smaller. So this is our cover page, very simple cover page. Good. So of course we need to save our file. Save as, and then I will go to, it's in the desktop. So I will go to the graphic design projects, my graphic design projects, brochure. So I will save it here in the main folder. Then we click on OK, just like that. Yeah. This is still good. I think this is good. So next thing, we need to create a new artboard. So the artboard is going to have very simple information. Like it's going to, we're going to create a new artboard for the second page. As usual, you select the artboard tool, and then you click on the top over here to add a new artboard. So I'm going to click on this like that, and then I will create a new artboard. So we have some basic information that we want to add over here. There is empowering communities through innovation. We can remove this. Sorry. We can remove this. The numbering. So we want to distribute it like evenly. We want to have something like this. Harnessing the power of drone technology and all these. This is just some very simple text. Okay. So I will select the first one over here. I will select the first one. That is empowering communities through innovation. All right. I will copy it. Okay. After copying it, I'm going to come to Adobe Illustrator. Okay. And I want you to see how you can add text in Adobe Illustrator quite easily. So I'll come select the type tool. And then as usual, ladies and gentlemen, draw a very simple text box like this. Then you paste your text. That is how you do it. So let me repeat that again. You draw a very simple text box, something that is uniform, paste your text. Okay? After you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that you want to do is you want to do what? To change your font. You can change your font in any way you want to use. Like for example, there's a font called Roboto. How many people have heard of the font called Roboto? Yeah, Nimona, a lot of people are saying that I use Montserrat. You can use all these fonts, by the way. They're actually very good fonts. But sometimes when it comes to your documentation, it doesn't have to be this large. There's a font I normally use. I don't know why I'm forgetting. It's called Century something. Yeah, I don't know. Centra. I don't know. It's always been a good font, by the way, when it comes to creating designs for clients. So like if you look at this, I'm going to be sharing the file with you. So this is a document. And then you can reduce the font size. It doesn't have to be so large. So for me, I'm going to use 14 points. Or I can even decide to use something like 15 points. Okay? After doing that, we can, let me go back to one of these documents. If you look at this, most of these documents have an image and some text. So here's what I'll do. So there is empowering communities through innovation. Okay? So I will come and select the rectangle tool. I want you to see this. A rectangle tool. And then I'm going to draw a very simple rectangle from end to end like that. I will select the eyedropper tool and add that as my specific color. And now because this is going to be my background, I'm going to right click, click on arrange and send this to the back. Okay, so now my text is visible. Are we together up to that point, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja? Are we still together? Always remember to save your project. So, as you can see, this is my text. So this one is supposed to be a heading, empowering communities through innovation. In fact, I can double click over here and change the color of my text. All right, then increase the size of my text. Basically, I can even adjust the spacing And then the best way to align your text in when you're creating documents is to justify it. Here on this end, there is something written, justify to the left. Click on it. And as you can see, your text inakuja all the way to this particular end. All right? You can double click over here to add some space between the heading. Then you can select your heading and probably change this and make it like extra bold. You can even make it bold. It all depends on your preference. In fact, for me, I would even decide to use like this font called EB Garamond as the heading title, and then probably make it like extra bold italic, and then increase the font size. We're going to have something like that. Yeah. Then you can even make this, you can even make the text bigger again. You can align this to the left to just make it a little bit different. And then you're going to have something like this. So you have this as the main title, Empowering Communities Through Innovation. You can select these and even change the color and make it black. It all depends on what you want to do. You can even select it, select your text, and even give it like a different color. Like I can give it like this particular yellow. All right? Is it yellow or orange? I can even select these, use a different, I can even use this one. It all depends on what you want to do. But I don't know why, but this color seems to be quite good. What do you think about this yellow color being the title? Yeah, we have Empowering Communities Through Innovation. Yeah, this is quite good. Then I can even select my text like this and come over here and probably make it light. You can have something like this. But for me, I can select it and still make it have like a, it's just something like that. All right, that is regular. So these are the various font styles. Font styles, as if you can remember, in the previous session we talked about font styles. There are so many. You can always have a font that has so many font styles. This is where you find the font styles. Next thing, ladies and gentlemen, we have the second title, which is Renewable Energy, Reversing the World's Leading Cause of Mortality. So we still want to use this title. So I'm going to select it, Control and copy. Now, I'm still in the same text box, this one over here. All right, I'm still in the same one. But however, you can even decide to probably bring this all the way to the end if you want to have something like that. Or rather, you can even decide to do this. You can even decide to probably select this, make the font style a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be so large, right? It doesn't have to be so large. You can have it small in a small manner, and then you can have something like this. Yeah, so that now the text fits properly. You can even make it larger now. Now, after having something like this, you can come select your text, copy it. Control and C is what you use to copy. Control and C, a reminder, Control and C. Then I'm going to come over here, hit enter. I'm here. I'm actually here already. So I'm going to hit enter, paste that particular text, and then I'm going to go to Word, and then I want to copy this particular document, Control and C, this particular title. And finally, I'm going to paste this like this. And then I can also come, copy this text again, because I still want to use it as it is. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to do two jobs, two things, continue changing a number of times. So then after that, I'll copy this particular text, come to Adobe Illustrator and paste my document like that. You can adjust the size of your text box in however much you prefer. All right, you can make it smaller, you can make it larger. It depends on your preference generally. So like for example, we can have these. I think at this point this is okay. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think this is okay up to this particular point? Do you think this is okay? What do you think? So already now we've worked on this so far. All right, so we can click on Control and S. Now we want to do something else. We want to add an image. So how do we add an image? It's very simple, as usual, ladies and gentlemen. So now we want to probably add an image on renewable energy. So I can go to FreePick and I want to search for solar energy, rural area, probably in a rural area. Yeah. So this one is supposed to represent something like renewable energy. So if you look at this, these are quite a number of images that are showing the use of solar energy in rural areas. And this actually does make sense. So you can download any image that you actually find useful. So for me, I can decide to download like this one. All right. And then I can just click on the drop down and download the largest image. one of the most important things is that you always have to make sure that all your files in your documentation are actually well arranged and properly arranged. Okay, so when probably now you're done with creating your project, it's going to be easy for you to like say, now in this folder, this is where my images are. So I'm going to cut this and I want to bring it to my images folder, downloaded images, paste that over here. So if I come to Adobe Illustrator, now I want to show you something. I can drag my image and bring it here. So here's what I'll do. I'll just come. So let me just close this up, close this up, close this up, select this, drag this image and drop it. I don't know why. Why is it not dragging over here? Images, rural areas. I don't understand. What is the issue? I think this is the image. Why is it not opening it up? So I can click on file and click on open. So I want to see whether I can still open it up. So it has a huge name. So we want to rename it. So let me just rename it. New image. Renewable image, renewable energy, solar. So I'm going to rename it. Let's see if I can drag it, and I have been able to drag it. So this is my image now. If you look at this image. Now here's the thing. I want to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to see this. You see this space that has remained over here. You see this space? So let's draw a very simple rectangle from end to end. Kutoka hapa hadi hapa. You see this space that has remained? If you look at this space, do you think it makes sense for us to put an image there? Do you think it makes sense for us to put an image there? It does make sense for us to put an image. So if you look at this particular file, I will drag it like this. I will drag it. This image. And then, instead of leaving it empty, now I want you to see this. This, as usual, I remind you again. If you want to clip mask an image in Adobe Illustrator, you select the rectangle or the shape. You can even use a circle. You're going to find us doing that in the next few classes. You select the rectangle. Holding shift, I'm going to select the image, right click, and then I'm going to click on make clipping mask. What do you think about that so far, ladies and gentlemen? You can even adjust these and create some spacing. We will have something like this. What do you think about this so far? What do you think about that? Nimeona Brian Kiprono akisema no, tusiweke picha. Brian Kiprono, are you still saying that we still umesema bado tusiweke picha? Kiprono, have you changed your decision now? Ama bado uko no? Kiprono, I'm waiting to see whether you've agreed. We will only proceed if you have agreed. Kiprono has not. Kiprono, umesema no na ukatoka kwa darasa. Finally he has agreed. Good one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have page 1 and page 2. Now, I want to show you something. Because sometimes naambianga watu that it's easy for you to actually get to earn some money by using your brain and using your creativity. If you don't want to do so much, like the client said, usinitengeneze kitu kubwa. I just want you to create something for me that I can use for today. So here's the thing. You can duplicate your artboard. So I'm going to duplicate my artboard. And now I'm going to move fast because it's already 8:45. So I'm going to duplicate my artboard like this. Holding Alt on my keyboard, the Alt key, I'll drag and duplicate like that. Na sasa nikiduplicate, I can even come, like select this background and select the eyedropper and probably give it a different color, whichever I want to use, right? Any color, ile yenye unataka kutumia, you can use any other color. In fact, if we selected this and looked for a different, like a darker shade, we can have something like that. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? And if I go back to my document, we have water resource management with a difference. Copy that. Come to Adobe Illustrator. Paste this over here. Then come back again. I want to copy this again. Come back. Paste this. Then I come again. I select harnessing the power of drone technology. Yeah. This is the title. Then I will come again. I will select this. Copy it. paste it like that. So already I've been able to craft my document haraka. Now I just need to change this image. So how do I change the image? So I'll go directly, and I'm going to probably look for an image on drone technology. Just a very simple image that shows drone technology to see what it actually has to offer. Well, there are so many images, as you can see over here. So for now, I can download like this one. All right. So if I click on this and probably download the large image, it's very good. By the way, I've paid license fees to get to use these images. Hizi ni picha client analipia. Yeah. So like now, after doing that, I can easily drag this image and drop it here. So when I drop it, I want you to see something, ladies and gentlemen. I can resize it. Now the goal is to put this image inside here. Now I know you're probably wondering, Jesus Christ, how is this going to happen? I want you to see what I will do. I'm going to click on Control and X to cut the image, which is cutting. Then I will come inside here. I double click marambili. I can delete this image, and then I can click on Control and V. And then I can resize this one pole pole. Now I want us to see what happens if I resize it like that. Si imetoshea? Imetoshea ama ijatoshea? Imetoshea. As you can see, imetoshea. That is basically how you clip mask in Adobe Illustrator if you had already clip masked before. Okay? Isikupea wasiwasi. You can even adjust the image. You can make a few changes. In fact, you can even decide now the text is going to be this side and the image is going to be this side. So ulete hii hapo na ulete hii hapo, ukuje useme done. Just like that. And then you click on Control and the S to save your project. Now, once you're done, the next thing you do is what? The next thing you want to do is what? You probably just want to make it a little bit stylish. So we duplicate the same artboard again. So we will duplicate this again. So let's duplicate it. We will duplicate it again. But now we're going to be a little bit different. Let's delete this. We will have something we refer to as a gradient. So this rectangle, I'm going to select it. In fact, I'm going to bring this logo. Acha niileta karibu hapa. I'm going to select this rectangle. And then I want to click on gradient. Alafu ni make sure nime select hapa. Then, after selecting this part over here to show that now we are working with gradient, I will come and select the first color over here. Then I will select the eyedropper over there. Select the first color. Pop. Nikuja ni select hii rangi ingine. 1. Nikuja ni select hii with the eyedropper. Remember, it's still selected. Pop. But now I want to make the other one, which is on this side, a little bit darker. So I'm going to select this. See, tumeform ka gradient. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that particular image, there is a gradient you're seeing. True or false? Ukweli ama uongo? Ukweli ama urongo? Ukweli ama urongo? There's a gradient. And now you can even adjust your gradient in this manner. Unaweza cheza nayo. You can even play around with it like this. You can do something like that. In fact, you can even rotate it. You can even rotate it like this. You can, unaweza koroga mtu kichwa hadi, you know, you use your own creativity to do something like this. That is how you create a very simple gradient in Adobe Illustrator. Right? I can even come over here now. The next title is Catalyzing Investments for Climate Smart. You know, vitu zote, I don't understand what this means. So this is the first title. I'm going to paste it like that. Then where is the text about it? This is the text. Yeah, this is the text. It's quite large, so itabidi imebaki peke yake. So I will reduce all this writing. So this one is catalyzing what? Catalyzing climate change. Kizungu mingi, I don't really understand this. So we can even have it up to this point, and then we can decide to now make this a little bit shorter. We make it like have sentences. In fact, you can even select your gradient and ufanye kitu inaitangwa color swapping. Yeah, he ende. You can have something like that. All right? And then now, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, Brian, Kiprono, do you think it makes sense kuweka image hapa? Kiprono, do you think it makes sense to put an image over here? Kiprono, I'm waiting to see. He said yes. Kiprono amesema wewe ndo utaki picha kila mahali popote. So you're going to be so this one is climate. So let's look for an image on climate change. Let's look for a very simple image on climate change. So it's a very simple kitu tu yenye tu inaonyeshana climate. Okay, not climate change anyway. Let's just look for climate. We just want to see a very simple image that we can use for this. Well, really, you can as well use images from various websites, but I think this one makes sense. This one does make sense. So I'm going to just click on this drop down and download this one. All right, I'm actually going to download that image. Or as always, transfer your images into one folder so that you can easily access them. Drag this, drop it over here. You get me now? Kiprono tuko pamoja? Kiprono, are we still together? Kiprono tuko pamoja? Kiprono wako wapi? Anasema yes. Kiprono, are we still together? I want to see whether Kiprono wako wapi? Kiprono, I'm waiting for you to say we are together. Perfect. Okay. So this is the image. Ukiangalia, that's the image. In fact, now I can I can send this image to the back. Arrange, send to the back. Now, what do I want to do? I want to show you something else. If you select this, you see this very simple rectangle that we have over here that has a gradient. If you click on edit and then you click on copy, and then you click on edit again, and then you click on paste in place, you have created two copies of the same rectangle, but may paste in the same place. Like for example, if I wanted this image to make a copy of it, and I paste it penye tu iko, I will click on edit, copy, and then I'll click on edit, and then I'm going to click on paste in place. Iko hapa, si unaona? It has made a copy. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Are we together up to that point? I hope you've gotten that point. If you select like this one, if you click on edit, then you click on copy, then you click on edit, and then you click on paste in place, imefanya another copy just above the other one. Good? So for this, if I select it, click on edit, and then I click on copy, and then I click on edit and click on paste in place again, I have made two copies of the same rectangle. Now I want to clip mask with this image. So I'll select this image, select the first rectangle, right click, make clipping mask. And then I will click on right click again here because I want to send it to the back, arrange, send to the back. Now you might be wondering, where did that image go? Iko nyuma. It's only that it is not visible. So if we select this, all right, kuna mtu tu kazi yake leo ni kushtuka tu. You're just drawing emojis of kushtuka. Umeshtuka hadi sasa tumeshtuka. So I can reduce the opacity of this, and I'm going to have something like this. Or rather, I can even be a little bit creative. I can decide to resize this. Nilete hapa. All right, and then I can have something like this. You get me? Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? And then I can reduce the opacity of this one, Hivo. It all depends on what you want to achieve generally. But as long as you're able to get to achieve something that, you know, is of value to your client, uko sawa. You're going to have something like this. So this is your text. Yeah? You can even reduce the opacity kidogo ili ikae like unajua what you're doing. You can change the color. You can change the color if you prefer to change your color. All right? You can have something like that. So that now this one says catalyzing blah blah blah, a number of text. So this is meant to be a little bit different. So I can select these, I can select these, select the eyedropper, hit that color. Can make this a little bit darker. I think we can make it darker. And we reduce the opacity. So ladies and gentlemen, up to that point we have something like that. And then finally, we can even decide now, we have the final text, which is partner with us for a poverty-free, for a future, something like that. Now to finalize our document, wacha tukuje kwa hii nini, our jamaa. We see what they have as the final part. You see, it's the same thing. So we can just come back, we can go back again. We can duplicate this. We duplicate this like this. Okay? See, hii ndio tunataka ikuwe cover page. We select this, and as usual, we can add a different color. Unaweza weka rangi yenye unataka. You see, we have resilience center. Yeah, you can make it darker if you want to have a different kind of a, maybe some different text. Yeah, if you want to have something like a difference. So I'm going to delete all this. Delete all that. Hii tunaweza leta hapa. We can bring this logo over here. And then we can add our text, which is resilience center Nairobi. We're going to have this as our text. And as usual, you can always adjust the spacing between your text, and you can even use a different font. Kama unataka kutumia a different font, you can have something like that. All right. So this is a very simple icon. Then we can change this to white. Double click, change it to white, click on OK. Then you're going to have something like that. And now finally, what do? What we want to do now, finally, we can actually even change this and make at least equal a little bit like that particular color like that. Now we want to add some text, which is partner with us for a, hizi vitu zote. Copy that. And then I'm going to come and draw a very simple text box, paste it over there. In fact, I can even make these a little bit larger so that we have something like that. All right. So we have partner with us, blah, blah, blah. All these can reduce the size of our text, something like this. Then we can change this. We can even actually, by the way, hata tunaweza choka na hii color ya nini tuweke white. Yeah. Unaweza weka white bado. Hiyo imechoma. We change this to white. All right. In fact, now let me just go back and use this green. Kidogo hiyo ndio ilikuwa ina make sense. No. This one, the other one that we started with. This one is a little bit much more sensible. So we have something like this. Okay. Then now we can select our text and probably give it a different font style. We can use like this one that we were using previously. Yeah. Then, of course, you can reduce the font size. You can even reduce this. Yeah, the font size of this. And just like that, you will have completed your project very easily. So we can make this a little bit larger since it's a title. Yeah, we can make this a little bit larger. So bold and italic as a font style. We're going to have something like that. So this is just a very simple like cover page. Like the simple, is it the end page for the document? Yeah. You can even move this over here. Alafu we select here your text, make it black. In fact, you can even select the eyedropper tool and pick a different color. So for now, we will do this particular black color over here. And I think finally, in fact, let me just leave it as it was previously. And finally, I think we can add some of these text that the client had shared. Yeah. Some of this text, so we can make this smaller. If you can remember how we were resizing this. So we will now add some very simple contact information over here. If someone wants to reach out, yeah, we can add these and have something like this. PO Box something, Nairobi, Kenya. All right. We can make these a little bit smaller. Doesn't have to be so big. We have mobile. Can reduce the spacing between the text. And you basically have something like this. The client had also sent me a link to their website. So this is, sorry. So I'm going to select this and add the link. So we will have something like that. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you can align your text to the center. And just like that, you will have created a very simple document. Yeah. Hata sasa unaweza amua. Now, in fact, for this, you can even decide that for the image, you're going to have like an entire different background. Yeah. You can decide to have this, and then you add this. Then you arrange, send to the back. You delete this. Good. And then weke a different color like white. So now your text is going to look like this. Now you can even probably reduce or increase the opacity, or even you can change the color of this. make it something like this, so that there's a bit of a difference. Yeah. So as you can see, you have created a very simple document, just like that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the moment you're done, I believe the moment you're done, yeah, the moment you're done, you want to save your project as a PDF. So I'm going to click on File, and then I'm going to click on Save As, and then I'm going to click on PDF. So I'll click on Save, and now over here we have the presets in Adobe Illustrator. Click on this part over here, high quality print file. All right, you want to maintain clarity on your document. Preserve the quality, you don't want to preserve Illustrator editing capabilities because your file is going to be so large. And then remember, bleeds. You come and click on Use Document Bleeds, and then you click on Save PDF, and then you click on OK. So once you do that, you will have saved a document. So now let's go back. Let's go to the document where we've saved that particular document. So the document is here, and if I open it, I want you to see. Muniambie kama inakaa vizuri. So this is a cover page. All right, this is a cover page. This is a second page. This is a third page. This is a fourth page. And this is a fifth page. What do you think? Imegonga ama imenoa? So now I will send that document to the client na nimwambie 2500. In fact, akinilipa nitawatumia screenshot, so that you believe there is power in you getting to do some graphic design. So basically, the thing about all this is that graphic design, first of all, it's all about how you can utilize very simple things in something very simple. But unajua, let me show you something else. You also don't want to send the document to the client. So what do? You export as images. So you will come and click on File, then you click on Export, then click on Export As. Then you're going to make sure that you select as Use Artboards. And then you click on Export. Ukifinya Export, you can export using RGB color mode. Click on OK. Now ukitumia client, when they pay you now, after they pay you, so like right now, acha nimtumia niambie what they think. Yeah. So I'll send the document to the client to see what the client will have to say with regards to the same, with regards on this, regarding the document. So that is basically how you do it. So once the client actually goes ahead and pays me, sasa ndio nitakuja nimwambie shika PDF. All right? It's basically something that you can do yourself, even in your house, and you find yourself making some money. Ladies and gentlemen, tuko pamoja up to that particular point. Are we still together? Now, I don't want to go on and further the discussion, but I think we already have talked about a few things that have made some sense today. How many people have gotten something that is going to open their minds with regards to the same? I don't know. Who can tell me? Who can tell me whether they've gotten something? Who can tell me whether they've actually been able to understand something? Good. Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I presumably don't know if anyone has a question. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, that is, if you have a question, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Okay. Hawa ni wengi. I'm only going to take 2 questions. But if you can also send, if it's possible for you to send your question in the chat section, please send it. All right, please send it. If it's possible for you to send your question. This one is a laptop I'm using. You always have to use a laptop. Imran Aden, you can send your question on the chat section, so that because we are already out of time, and the rest, you can send your questions. Please send the questions in the chat section. Is it a disadvantage to only have Adobe Illustrator 2022? Nope, it's not a disadvantage. Me, I use it all the time and it's comfortable. Canva, me, I don't know anything about Canva. Me, as you can see, this project that we've done, we've created it from scratch. What is the standard size of a brochure? It's an A4. How do we get to pay for these softwares? If you want to pay for them, you just go to adobe.com and you download them and you pay for them. But sasa watu wengi we use cracked ones. Yeah, the recorded version is only available to students who are actually part of the graphic design bootcamp. That's the thing. So only kama ulikuwa umealikwa ni mwaliko tu wa leo, don't worry. So probably next time you might access the sessions. But Canva, I don't think Canva, the moment umeanza kutumia Canva, I don't know, Canva is not as great as Adobe Illustrator because Canva is going to limit you. If you want the cracked versions, are in my Telegram channel. Just go and look for my Telegram channel and you're going to find them there. But anyway, if you're looking for if you're looking for like some creativity, I always tell people that you use Adobe Illustrator. It's going to make you think on how you're going to make your stuff better. But anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of the session today. You can use this to make a poster. Good. Clip mask. In fact, you can always learn how to clip mask. So we will proceed on with the classes. And by the way, guys, remember, we still have web design classes. Yeah. Ingia, by the way, they're going to help you. You can imagine you charging 2,500 for this, and you have one client mwenye anakulipa 15,000 for a website. That is money you didn't have. You can learn how to do this. Wacha nione kama client ameitikia. Akikataa kulipa, I will tell you. But anyway, I hope you've learned something today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just end the session at that point. Thank you for being part of the session today. Asanteni sana. Have yourselves a good night and enjoy your weekend. We will still have more classes to catch up so that we can get to learn more. Have a good night. We will also touch on the company profile. So thank you for being part of today's session. Asante sana.